This is Joy News Prime with me, Blessed Soga. In this bulletin, NPP Council of Elders at Domi Kobinya constituency set to make a decision on the absence of Member of Parliament following concerns raised by the party and some government officials.
It is not by lobby. I am the constituency secretary. I don't have any right to sack a Member of Parliament. We leave that to the party hierarchy. They are the top. Whatever they say is final.
But the office of the MP is accusing some persons within the party of taking undue advantage of the MP's absence to create disaffection for her.
I will find it very difficult if anybody says that her absence in any way is dragging or is pulling back the development that we should benefit from.
We will hear from the constituents who have been speaking about her absence and calls for her to be dismissed.
Nobody knows where she is. We are not seeing her, which of course all of us are very worried.
As a North MP rejects claims by state prosecutors, his bodyguard threw out a bailiff from his office, insisting he's not evading service.
Did you throw out the bailiff who came to your house?
No, I've just said to you, I can't go beyond that.
You trust the system, but you are evading service.
No.
You've been moving.
No. I think you are making up your story.
Journalists with Accra FM granted 50,000 Ghana cedis bail with 2 sureties after pleading not guilty to a charge of the publication of false news.
It is always possible to get a story wrong. It is possible. And that is why there are civil remedies when you get a story wrong and that story injures their reputation.
And in business, proposed expenditure cuts to hit goods and services as well as capital expenditure of all ministries, departments and agencies. We'll hear from a Deputy Minister of Finance.
All ministries, departments and agencies have seen some cuts in the allocation. And usually, let me tell you, with the first quarter is more of planning. And so we want them to use this quarter to reprioritize their needs.
Always remember, we are live on DSTV channel 421, GoTV channel 144. This is your home of independent, fearless, credible journalism. Stay for details. Where is Sarah Adwoa Safo? That is the question being asked by MPs, some government officials and her constituents. But we are learning the Council of Elders of the New Patriotic Party in the Domi Kobinya constituency are set to make a decision on the absence. My colleague Ernest Menu was in the constituency today and now reports.
The absence of the MP has raised concerns among the rank and file of the party. Poster and editor of the Daily Dispatch newspaper, Ben Efson, has called for her dismissal if it emerges she did not follow due process. Asin Central MP Kennedy Japon has accused her of holding the party to ransom. But in the Domi Kobinya constituency, secretary of the party, Theophilus Ansalabi, tells Joy News her absence is indeed affecting the constituency. Here's how.
You met me in the office this morning working. That is what I'm supposed to do. So I was voted into power and she was also voted. So if you have been voted, you do what is expected of you. So if you're supposed to go to Parliament and represent your people and also visit your constituents and do what is expected of you and you don't do, definitely it will affect them. What we're saying is that we have common, even a typical one is that we have common funds for the constituency, that's the MP's common fund, that deprived people probably have the opportunity to access it. So without you, how do they access it? If it has to be with health issue, without you, how do people deal with it? Because nobody can access your common fund except you. So if you're not there, that means those who the funds are meant for cannot access it. So in effect, probably it's affecting people in the constituency, isn't it?
He adds that the issue has been tabled before the Council of Elders of the party in the constituency after several failed attempts to reach the MP.
As far as I'm concerned, it is difficult getting to her. As far as I am concerned, okay, so I'm speaking for myself, it is difficult for me to reach her as an MP.
How about the executive body? Officially?
We have had consent and we've met with the Council of Elders, Patrons and Disciplinary Committee on this same issue, and the key person we have been reaching the MP through is the constituency chairman. We have tasked him severally to get in touch of the MP and get back to us, but getting back to us, he also said he wasn't able to.
The constituents have been speaking. They are sharply divided over her absence and the calls for her dismissal.
On one kasana nisu. Oto aba mani wia uhu ni biom. Oto aba emani wia uhu ni biom. Je elections abe baso. Primaries be baso sa ena waba. That's a habit.
What do you make of that?
In fact, it's very, very sad. Part of Ajwa. But unfortunately, we are not seeing her, which, of course, all of us are very worried.
Well, he cannot tell us emphatically if she should be sacked or not, but he believes that whatever action that must be taken, if indeed she's not attending Parliament deliberately, then that action must be taken. However, he as a constituent is affected by the absence of the MP because she's the one who must represent them, must table their issues before government in order to get the solution that they need, and so her absence definitely affects him. Let me speak to another driver. We are the taxi rank here at Dome. Wafa, what are you saying?
I'm saying fantastic. If you say nipa and a bonny, in case this you will be so and care about say nipa na. If you say nipa na bonny, nipa bonny yadiche.
Okay, say raise issues waha mentiasia because issues in the enye hankwan raise the whole nation. Oh. Yeah, bisa. Yeah, bisa. Young baby, nobody know where she is.
Yeah, mommy, it's no way say Bibia Parliament say pass him maybe I won't address for the whole. But I say, don't can you look? Any party Obia could think of home. One I be a winning in the Mimi Huno, Menenica. Last year, Mihuno, December Yamihuno, January Yamihuno. January Mihuno,
this year or whatever.
They say I met like I said the party or in Uncle Baby or Ghana. Any party what I say be a
Okay. Now he believes that the absence of the member of parliament is very worrying, not just at the constituency level, but also at the national level. And in fact, the constituents are very much worried. He says if you just speak to a random person, they will tell you that as for the member of parliament, she only appears when there's an election coming up, and so they are very much worried about her absence or her absence, especially in parliament. But he thinks otherwise. He says he's seen the member of parliament constantly, even this year. They've had several engagements with her, and he believes it's the internal party politics here at Dome Kwabena that's at play, which is giving a very bad impression of the member of parliament. So we move to the house of the MP to find out where exactly she is. The personal assistant to met her said Adwoa Safo is out of the jurisdiction for personal reasons.
She's a third-term member of parliament. There hasn't been any time where she has stayed away for so long. So once this is happening, we should, try and understand that there's something very germane that is keeping her away, and not because she's intentionally doing it or because she has some scores to settle with anybody. Even in her absence, there's still work being done in the constituency. There are several developmental projects ongoing in the constituency, from roads to schools, several development going on. So I will find it very difficult if anybody says that her absence in any way is dragging or is pulling back the development that we should benefit from, in the constituency. I find that very difficult to understand.
He, however, accuses some persons within the party of capitalizing on her absence to create disaffection for her.
And also, I mean, the secretary, he's not somebody who we would expect. I personally will expect. Will say something positive about the member of parliament because of the relationship. Yes, he's the secretary of the constituency and also a perpetual opponent of the member of parliament. So I don't expect him to say.
Perpetual opponent?
Yes, he's always been an opponent of the member of parliament. At no point in time has he supported the member of parliament, and it's been like that, and we've worked with it until now.
So when will Adwoa Safo be back in town?
Well, as far as in speaking to the e-levy, it's something that Honorable supports, and when she comes to town, she'll definitely be in Parliament to support him passing the e-levy next week. All things being equal.
Sarah Adwoa Safo will be in town.
Yeah.
And she will participate in the
surely.
votes. Ernest Minu for Joy News.
Asen North Member of Parliament says he is high spirit and not perturbed by the attempts to prosecute him. Speaking for the very first time, James Jachi Kwesen said he has confidence in the judicial system to give him justice. He also rejected claims his bodyguard threw out the bailiff from his office and insists he hasn't been served and is not evading service.
I cannot actually comment on any matter that is in the courts, but I can tell you I'm in a very high spirit. An innocent person has nothing to fear. That's all I can say.
But then, did you throw out the bailiff who came to your house?
No. I've just said to you I can't go beyond that.
But do you feel persecuted?
I cannot. No. All I'll say to you at this point, as you're all aware, this matter is in court. I believe and trust in the judicial system because that's the way for people to measure their innocence.
You trust the system, but you are evading service.
No.
You've been moving dodging the police.
I think you are making up your story. All I'll say to you is that I am not going to go into any extent to own up any information to you. All I'll say to you is that matters are in court and leave the courts to do their work.
But are you evading service?
Will you avail yourself? Will you avail yourself for service, or have you been served?
I cannot comment any further. All I'll say to you is that I'm conducting my parliamentary duties, and that's all I can say. My constituents speaks for themselves. Okay. So let's not ambush this discussion here. Right. Come to me at the appropriate time, and I'll give you the best of my knowledge.
Let's stay in Parliament. Minority Leader Haruna Iddrisu is accusing the Finance Minister, Ken Ofori-Atta, of usurping the authority of Parliament. According to him, the ongoing town hall meetings should have been spearheaded by the Finance Committee of Parliament and not the Minister, a situation he described as an illegality. Contributing to the business statement for next week, the Tamale South MP called on the Minister to shun the engagement and allow the Finance Committee to lead discussions on the controversial e-levy.
Going on that we should express our disquiet strongly about. Order 169, Mr. Speaker, may I refer you to it, provides the Committee on Finance shall be composed of 25 members to which shall be referred bills, inquiries, and other matters relating to finance and the economy generally. So as far as we are concerned, a bill known as the Electronic Transfer Bill was introduced in this House and referred appropriately to the Finance Committee. My strong view is that even in the search and elucidation of views and inputs, it does not lie in the Minister, Honorable Ken Ofori-Atta. It lies in our Finance Committee. What he ought to do under Article 106 is his explanatory memorandum, which accompanied the bill. But to go around the country town hall, that is not his responsibility. He is not Parliament, and he's not the Finance Committee of Parliament. There is a bill before this House, appropriately referred to our Finance Committee. If there must be engagement, the engagement should be the Finance Committee of Parliament. This afterthought or corrective measures of him if he had railroad the bill through the certificate of urgency he came with, will he be consulting the public? So, Mr. Speaker, we should get things right. Our rules and the Constitution imposes this authority and mandate in our finance committee, not the Minister for Finance. We will not sit down for him to usurp our small power and authority. We know he has power and authority to say, Scanu Neo, Minister, I don't have money, Mr. Speaker. But he has no mandate to go around the country on behalf of the Finance Committee of Parliament. As to when you bring e-levy, as I've always assured you, we are ready for you. You are struggling, and you won't let Ghanaians know that you are struggling. This is the first time a majority, you work out on your budget, you bring a bill 2 months into it on revenue measure, is not passed, and then you come for withdrawal, you walk back on amendment because you are searching for numbers. That is not even how parliaments are run, Mr. Speaker. So the Minister for Finance doesn't have a mandate.
But in a sharp rebuttal, the Deputy Majority Leader, Alexander Penyumakan, cautioned the Minority Leader against moves to malign the integrity of the Finance Minister, insisting he is never usurping the powers of the Parliament.
This is the same minority that said the government should engage the people of Ghana. This is the same minority leader who said he agrees for 1%. Now when the Minister of Finance is engaging the Ghanaian people, you again say that he should not engage them. We shouldn't explain, considering the propaganda doing the rounds. Mr. Speaker, only yesterday, the Minority Leaders Party telling Ghanaians that they don't like too much taxes. They said they will not introduce e-levy, but should they come, they will introduce different forms of taxation. Where do you stand? This inconsistency. Mr. Speaker, that is unfair to the Minister of Finance. The submissions by the Minority Leader, with the greatest respect, cannot be fair to the Minister of Finance. He is not doing that on behalf of Parliament. The Minister of Finance is going around educating Ghanaians on government policy. And what is he telling Ghanaians? What the Finance Minister is telling Ghanaians? He's saying two things. One, that the roads are bad. We want to fix the roads. That we know that our revenue sources are not sufficient. We have identified some areas that are low-hanging fruit we want to tap into. And that is why we are introducing this electronic transaction levy.
Well, some residents of Kumasi, the heartbeat of the ruling New Patriotic Party, say they are prepared to join any street protest against the government's introduction of the electronic transaction levy, or e-levy. The e-levy policy has received public rejection. Some citizens hit the streets of Accra to register their discontent. Emmanuel Bright Kweku gauged the mood of Kumasi residents on interest to join such demonstration.
Demonstration about Mekobi. If you say, "Adi are buying no, Kufuado are buying no, or more yen on,"
I will join the protest. We simply do not understand this government. The protest is for the entire country, so I will join.
Demonstration
I support the demonstration because the government is not ready to do anything about the e-levy.
We are in full support.
E-levy ni die mi mfuaso die na mbom se mi dam edwuma eja.
I don't think I will join. It's too risky.
E-levy ni die mi omo ya adwene say is too harsh.
Papa, the problem is
introducing new taxes in this country won't help. The problem is the judicious use of these monies.
Demonstration is a banner at but one thing is we demonstrate 10,000. Then paying for the emergency.
Now, journalist with Accra FM, Kwabena Bobie Ansah, has pleaded not guilty to a charge of publication of fake news. According to the police who arraigned the journalist before court, he failed to honor police invitation to assist in investigations after an allegation of publication of fake news was reported against him. Presenting the facts of the case, the police officer said Bobby Ansah accused presidential spouses of granting themselves state lands. He was picked up by the police after his show on Thursday. The Kaneshie District Court granted him a 50,000 Ghana cedis bail with 2 sureties. The case has been adjourned to the 14th of March. His lawyer, Eduji Tamaklo, spoke to the media after court.
The facts produced by the prosecution, they are saying that there had been a story done by him and 3 others, that the producers of the show, and it borders on the first lady and the second lady. Incidentally, on these 2 charges, these 2 individuals are not named as the complainants. So our question is it that the police just stood up and started investigating, or somebody came to them that they should investigate this matter? Who exactly came to the police to investigate this matter? We want to know. Is it the first lady? Because from the facts, if somebody lies about you or against your person, you are entitled to sue the person for defamation. And what is even more worrying with these charges is that I still remember the argument made by lawyer Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo in the Republic versus Tommy Thompson. The argument made by now president when he was then defense attorney. What is happening now? So as brothers, and thankfully all of you here are media men, it is always possible to get a story wrong. It is possible. And that is why there are civil remedies when you get a story wrong and that story injures their reputation. Are we to take it that the Ghana police is now becoming the tool for the first and second family, first lady, to remedy a reputation they claim has been injured? If we get to that point in our democracy, then we are going to destroy reputable institutions like Ghana Police. IGP Dampare, with the greatest respect to you, withdraw these charges and do yourself good. Because it is damaging. Look at the facts that you presented to court. It is damaging to the Ghana Police Service. Is it the first lady that came to you to do a complaint? Is it Samira that came to you to do a complaint? Because what you have succeeded in doing is to put these 2 ladies in the line of fire. Are they the complainant, Mr. Dampare? I'll leave it here.
Some media experts have been speaking about the situation. Executive Director of the Media Foundation for West Africa, Suleiman Abrahima, says the frequency of arrest and prosecution of persons using this law must be observed closely.
One begins to wonder, at what point should somebody act on the basis of defamation, and at what point should somebody act on the basis of publication of false news against a journalist? So what I'm saying is there is so much recklessness in our media today. Our media regulatory institution has been dormant and ineffective, and to that extent, the mechanism of self-regulation or other ways of regulating the media without, these kinds of police and security arrests and so on and so forth has been absent. But we are also witnessing a rate of arrests on the basis of false news that is becoming quite alarming. And we haven't seen that law or provision being used as much as we are seeing today. I am not therefore saying if a law was there and people were committing crime and the law was not being used, it was okay, and therefore if it is being used now, it is bad. But I think that we need to pay attention to how frequent this particular provision on publication of false news is being used.
Well, still on this story, private legal practitioner and media advocate Samson Lardy Anyeni says recent abuse of pressmen is of concern, but journalists must be responsible.
The freedoms that we enjoy are not as it were, compromise and undermine. To be frank with you, in this regime, unfortunately, under the headship of someone we have known to be a champion of human rights and the rest of them, we have seen such egregious, abuses that have happened. We have seen situations where, as a lawyer, I can tell you for a fact that you are doing helping a journalist or a media entity who clearly the state has come against. I mean, the politicians have used the powers of state to come against, and you are such a small, thing. It's difficult for you to fight effectively sometimes. But let's be frank about it, that in some of the cases that we have seen, and I will agree with Sule, and Sule doesn't mention to you that they have been doing this monitoring and they have produced the results of the clear infractions by some of the media entities. And go and check. Most of them, and the journalists, are those that have politicians supporting them even when they have done clear wrong.
Meanwhile, the minority in parliament says the recent arrest of media personnel is a move to intimidate and force the media personnel into silence. Listen to Al-Hassan Suini, who wants to hold the National Media Commission before Parliament.
Well, like any lover of democracy, any lover of free speech, I am very, very worried. And that is why I sought this morning to make a statement on the floor of Parliament, drawing the nation's attention to the growing threat and encroachment on the independence and the freedom of the media. Unfortunately, it is still under consideration, but I still thought that as the speakership and leadership consider the admissibility of the statement, that there was a need for the House to invite the National Media Commission that is tasked with the responsibility of ensuring that media houses and media personnel practice in freedom, and also where there are infractions, they deal with those infractions, to come through the Minister of Information to brief the House on what they are doing about the growing seemingly state-sponsored attacks.
Well, you can't be sure that it's state-sponsored, sir.
Well, that's why I said seemingly state-sponsored, and it is seeming so because many journalists have suffered one form of harassment or the other at the hands of people claiming to be acting in the name of the state. So it is difficult not to see it as seemingly state-sponsored. When you speak to people like Edward Adeti, and you speak to people like the Modern Ghana web journalists who, after their detention at the National Security Outfit, came to tell us harrowing stories of how they were tortured. You speak with the WhatsApp news editor, David Tamaklo. You speak with Umar Sanda of CTFM. You speak with you name them. Bobby Ansah recently. You speak with Mensa, ASEPA leader, Mensa Thompson, who in his case, even after the publication, quickly retracted, apologized, and indicated that his hitherto credible sources got it wrong, still had to be detained for at least a night in prison. And many see, and these are all, these all involve state, institutions or people pretending to be working in the name of the state. And the prosecutions that we have seen recently, that has also led to the imprisonment of, a journalist with, I think, Power FM for 14 days in the name of the state. I mean, there was a reason why the criminal libel law was repealed. And it is an irony that in opposition and in government as Attorney General, the current president has over the years taken pride in the role that he played in repealing the criminal libel law. So it is such an irony that under his watch, all of these things have enumerated.
Deputy Majority Leader Apenyo Markin says journalists must be circumspect in their reportage and must be responsible. He referenced the proliferation of blogs which are used to tarnish the reputation of others.
The appropriate platform must be used for the issue he raised. I understand he filed a statement even before waiting for admissibility. He decided to litigate his matter, but that's all right. That's all right. It's part of parliamentary advocacy. That's all right. I agree with you. But, Mr. Speaker, on the flip side, we may also have to look at encouraging our media practitioners to also have a look at the reportage, especially in this era where we have a lot of bloggers. The kind of misrepresentation and all that should be of concern to all of us. We shouldn't wait for it to be us before, until you become a victim of it and all that. So please, let's look at it and encourage them to be vibrant, to report, to write the news, but to be very objective in the way they do their thing.
The minority in Parliament has for the umpteenth time accused President Akufo-Addo of insensitivity to the plight of Ghanaians. According to the NDC MPs, decision by the President to once again embark on his 10-day trips to some European countries and Guyana on a chartered luxurious private jet at the time when government is seeking to introduce the e-levy is the highest level of disregard for the suffering of the masses. Speaking to the media in Parliament, Minority Spokesperson on Foreign Affairs Samuel Okudzeto Ablakwa revealed the President is spending over 4 million cedis on his trip.
In the midst of this demonstration yesterday and all the widespread agitations, the President at 1 p.m. yesterday, whilst the demonstration was going on, took off on the ultra-luxurious LXDIO, which cost the Ghanaian taxpayer $14,000 an hour. This 6-nation tour, we have done the conservative estimates. At the end of the tour, when the President returns, as he goes through France, Guyana, Germany, Belgium, the UK, and back to Ghana, the President will have spent a colossal amount of $776,000. At today's exchange, that is some 4.9 million Ghana cedis. A whopping 4.9 million Ghana cedis. We are saying that this has further strengthened our resolve that we remain opposed to the e-levy. We will do everything in our power to ensure that this e-levy does not see the light of day. This cannot be a president or a government that deserves additional taxes. The president must stop the wastage. The president must listen to the Ghanaian people for once. We want to serve very clear notice that we are not going to accept this conduct of the president. And we are further resolved that this side of the House will have absolutely nothing to do with the e-levy or any additional tax handle that this government will introduce. Because we have seen that we have a president who is not caring, we have a president who doesn't listen, we have a president who is not sensitive to the plight of suffering Ghanaians, we have a president who does not keep his word when he said he'll protect the public purse. Now, we cannot even find the public purse.
Rebuttal. Deputy Majority Leader Alexander Apenyo Markin accused the minority of engaging in needless populism. According to the Futu MP, the e-levy is a game changer that must be embraced by all. The board chairman for the Road Fund disclosed that the fund is depleted. According to him, the fund currently has a little over 70 million cedis to be disbursed next week, underscoring the importance of the e-levy to the road sector.
Government, through the Ministry of Finance, has been engaging Ghanaians on this important levy and explaining to Ghanaians why the introduction of this levy. Two things. Our roads and the unemployment situation we find ourselves. Many of our youths graduate and they want to get jobs, but the public sector cannot take everybody. So this e-levy, as contained in the budget statement, is aimed at also looking at creating opportunities for our young men and women who want to take advantage of the private sector. The main concern has been source of capital. Government is looking forward to use part of this levy to support our young entrepreneurs, right at the district level, all the way up. And it would be a game changer. And that is why I believe that with the explanation being offered, Ghanaians would very much appreciate why the introduction of this levy. Then, of course, again, our roads. Every one of us in the Chamber of Parliament, we've been talking about roads, that the deplorable nature of our roads. And today, Honorable Samson Ahi talking about Bodi roads. Obviously, we must have sustainable, dedicated, reliable source of funding. I chair the road fund. As we speak today, what is in the fund that next week we're going to disburse is just around 75 million cedis. What can 75 million do? How many contractors are you going to pay? So the reality is that there are key aspects of the economy that we must look for reliable source of funding so that we can grow the economy.
Thanks for staying with us on Joy News Prime. Still to come in business, proposed expenditure cuts to hit goods and services, as well as capital expenditure of all ministries, departments and agencies. We'll hear from a Deputy Minister of Finance.
All ministries, departments and agencies have seen some cuts in the allocation. And usually, let me tell you, with the first quarter is more of planning. And so we want them to use this quarter to reprioritize their needs.
It's time for business. I'm Charles Aite. Goods and services as well as capital expenditure budgets of all ministries, departments and agencies are the areas to be affected by the proposed cut in government spending this year. That's according to Deputy Minister of Finance Abena Osei-Asare. It follows a recent announcement by the government to cut 20% of the quarterly budget of all government institutions. Speaking on PM Express, the business edition, Mrs. Asare said government is committed to matching revenue with expenditure this time round.
All ministries, departments and agencies have seen some cuts in the allocation. And usually, let me tell you, with the first quarter is more of planning. And so we want them to use this quarter to reprioritize their needs. So this is what is going to be given to you or has been given to you for this first quarter. So look at your needs and prioritize them. Usually the first quarter is more of planning. And so in this planning stage, the finance minister is telling you that we have cut everybody's allocation by 20%, ministries, departments and agencies. So this is what you have. So look within your programs and activities and reprioritize for the first quarter. So yes, we have been able to do that.
So I'm just asking that, so is it going to affect compensation within these ministries?
No.
Is it going to affect
like
capital projects?
Compensation.
It cannot be touched. Cannot be touched.
Cannot be charged, so, as well as statutory funds payments, because it's a function of what comes in as revenue. But apart from that, all ministries, departments and agencies, goods and services and capital expenditure has seen some cuts.
So it's going,
first quarter.
It's going to affect goods and services.
Yes.
It's going to affect capital expenditure.
Yes.
And which other areas again? Because some of these foreign investors that...
No, the budget is made up of your compensation, your interest, your goods and services, and then capital expenditure.
Okay.
Yes. So goods and services and capital expenditure, yes.
Those are the areas that has been affected.
And it's across board, all ministries, departments, and agencies.
Sorry for some clarity. Have we been able to quantify this cut and the impact on our total expenditure? Maybe a round figure that because we are doing this is the savings that we are going to make to help us improve our revenue space in terms of how we can spend as well.
I cannot give you a definite, definite figure, but clearly I know that for Q1 we're doing around 24 billion Ghana cedis in terms of expenditure.
Cut.
No, in terms of expenditure for the quarter, we do about 24 billion Ghana cedis for that. Like I'm saying, usually the first quarter is more of planning and reprioritizing. So we are hoping that once we start like this, we reprioritize and then we spend on the most needed activities or programs, and then we avoid duplications.
Well, NLA has rewarded a 35-year-old teacher 120,000 cedis in the just-ended draw held on Saturday. Here's more.
Yevu Celestine, the winner from Tema Newtown, Greater Accra region, tends to be the third jackpot winner in the year, totaling a jackpot value of 360,000 cedis. Madame Yevu, upon receiving the 120,000 cedis prize, expressed her gratitude and said it will be invested in her pending project and other businesses.
I've been playing star 787 and I've been winning 10 cedis, but today I have won the biggest prize, that is 120,000 Ghana cedis. People out there, I want to say that it's real. It's never fake. So each and everyone should make sure he or she participates, because it's never a fake thing. It's very real.
The head of customer experience, Richard Akotobanfu, at the event announced star 787 hash guarantees an extra 2,000 cedis win for 6 lucky players.
This very year, star 787 hash has rewarded 3 big jackpot wins just within January and first week of February. This very Saturday, there is a guaranteed 20,000 Ghana cedis unique prize and 100,000 Ghana cedis jackpot value, and you can be the person to win this prize. All you have to do is to pick your phone now and dial star 787 hash, and you could be going home with 20,000 guaranteed unique prize, cash, or the 100,000 Ghana cedis jackpot. So take your chance now.
This Saturday, February 12, 2022 Super Draw promises a whopping 100,000 cedis jackpot plus a guaranteed 20,000 cedis unique prize.
Anyway, that'll be it for business. We have sports coming up shortly. Do stay with us.
Hello, good evening and welcome to the sports segments live here on the Joy News Prime with me, Oreku Ampofo. Now, former chairman of the Ghana Football Association, Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo, says he would have tendered in a resignation letter if he were the current president, Kurt Okraku. Now, he made this comment on the back of alleged political interference in Ghana football currently. Dr. Nyaho Tamaklo was speaking on GTV Sports Plus.
I believe strongly that if a chairman, for one reason or the other, becomes a stumbling block as far as the AFA is concerned, the only thing he can do is to take his pen and leave. Now, I'll give you a classic example, which is happening now. Now, after our abysmal performance at the last AFCON, we've come back home. We are thinking about getting qualified to the next World Cup. Now, we don't have a coach, a substantive coach. We are now looking for a coach. And all we hear is our government itself has brought in a coach, and the FA itself went out looking for a coach. I can assure you, if I were to be the FA chairman then, or now, let me make it now, I'll take my pen and resign, especially when a committee has been put in place without the knowledge of the chairman of the SC or the president of the FA. It is only through this that we shall learn how to really govern ourselves and be disciplined.
Well, let's do some more stories. And Berekum Chelsea held Inform Bechem United to a 1-1 draw in week 17 of the Ghana Premier League at the Golden City Park on Friday afternoon. Now let's check out the other week 17 fixtures in the Ghana Premier League. Well, as I said earlier, on Friday it was 1-1. Yawa not getting the equalizer for Bechem United, who find themselves second on the log. And Asante Kotoko would face Accra Lions and could extend their lead at the top to 6 points on Saturday. Adriana host 11 Wonders as LTU face Heart of Folk. Wafa play Karela as Great Olympics face Elmina Sharks. Dreams FC travel to face Mediama as Gold Stars also go away against Ashanti Gold. And then there's Monday Night Football where Legon Cities face Ken Faisal. Well, before we go, I did say earlier that Berekum Chelsea and Bechem United played out to a 1-1 draw. Let's now get highlights of that game.
Have some defending to do as Justice Anane gets ready to take this free kick, and then he swings one in. It is Kofi Owusu with a shot, and that's the opening goal. That's the striker's finish. Kofi Owusu, former goalkeeper of the Ghana Premier League, puts Chelsea ahead after 31 minutes. And so there it is. It's the first ball. It's not the best of balls, but they've not been able to clear it. It's Kofi Owusu got the first touch, got the second touch, was able to turn in the box, and then right through the left leg and left boot into the back of the net. Goalkeeper can't go for. But United will not mind. Here's Okras. Good cross in. That's the equalizer. Emmanuel Ano pulls parity for Bechem United. Very good goal. Great cross from Okra, and the connection just spot on. 1-1 here in Berekum against Nokra. Look at that. What a whip into the box. That was brilliant cross into the box. All Ano had to do was to keep his cool and plant it into the back of the head. And what came?
Well, that's how we wrap up for sports for this bulletin. Do enjoy your weekend. My name is Oreku Ampofo.
Well, so it's time now to check out what's trending in the world of entertainment. Becky's here.
Hello to you.
Thank God it's Friday, right?
Thank God it's Friday. So it's almost Valentine's. What would you be doing on Valentine's Day? Do you have any plans?
Well, I'm yet to
make plans.
Yeah, I think so.
You don't have anywhere to go?
We'll talk about that later.
We don't have to. Why? Is it just me, or
right.
I feel like all the men here at Multimedia, especially the on-air ones, they don't like talking about, you know what?
I absolutely lost about what you're talking about. But anyway, we'll talk about that later, I'm sure.
But I can,
I'm setting that we'll do that later.
I can suggest somewhere for you that will be the Love Night with Kwabena. Kwabena is happening Saturday, which is tomorrow, and at the National Theatre, and he's inviting everybody. That's just when he will cinerate all fans out there.
So that sounds like a good idea now.
It's a good idea. So just get somebody. But here is Kwabena explaining to us exactly what to expect on that night.
It's a season of love. It's a season where, like I said, we're gonna find a way to treat our queens so right. You know what I mean? So every beautiful lady and every queen deserves to be treated with a lot of appreciation. So that's what we're going to do on Saturday. We're going to appreciate our women, and we're going to set the tone for Valentine, that's which is Monday. So come Saturday, National Theatre, 8 p.m. I'm going to lead the men, and then we're going to serenade. You know what I mean? That's what I meant by saying so. We're going to serenade you all ladies, you know what I mean? So bring your lady, and let me set up the tone for you and make things work for you.
It's on Joy 99.7 FM.
That's right. Oh my, oh my. Yeah.
Well, Becky, so it appears that Kwabena is making me have a second thought about this whole
You
thing.
will?
Yeah.
You should.
Right.
If you don't have anybody to attend, go, just take me along. I will.
That'll be a nice idea.
I'll be your date. But you and
Right.
I'll be all for showbiz.
And Becky will be on next week with us again with more entertainment news. Stay with us here on Joy News Prime. We'll return shortly with more stories. The 65th Independence Day celebration has been launched in Cape Coast. The city will be the host of the two-week event that will see many visitors and tourists contributing to the local economy of the people. Launching the event and its logo on behalf of the President, Central Regional Minister Justina Marigold Asan indicated how proud the people of the Central Region are in hosting this year's national event. Richard Kojonyako has more in the following report.
And consom. What is the meaning of it? It is Bwame, Namimwao, Bwame, Namimwao, which literally means that help me and let me help you. Why? Because we find ourselves in a very difficult situation as a world. It is about time that we as citizens support our country so that in turn, when our country gets good standing, our country can also support us.
Deputy Director of Communications at the Presidency, Jefferson Saki, spelling out the details of the constituents of the logo and the program of activities to mark this year's National Independence Parade.
So, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. This is Cape Coast 2022.
The two-week activities will start from the 21st of February with a cleanup exercise to open up the ancient capital for more visitors and tourists. Central Regional Minister Justina Marigold Asan indicated how the economy of the people of the region would be boosted with the 65th independence celebration being done in Cape Coast. She officially launched the celebration that will take place at the Cape Coast Sports Stadium.
The benefits of this celebration being here in Cape Coast are just enormous. We are contributing to the local economy. It has been boosted so well. Even 2-3 weeks to the main event, all hotels in the region are fully booked. And we know that in the next week or two, taxi drivers are going to be engaged, food vendors are going to prepare sumptuous meals for people to enjoy, and other sectors of the economy are going to also be engaged. On behalf of His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Ghana, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, we officially launched this year's 65th Independence Day celebration, Cape Coast 2022. Thank you so much.
Director of Operations at the Presidency, Lord Komi, detailed the dignitaries that would be present at the celebration in Cape Coast.
The special guests for this year's celebrations would be the Prime Minister of Barbados, Prime Minister Mia Motley. Like you know, every year there is a president that is invited from another country to be the special guest for the occasions of our national days. And this time, the Prime Minister, the woman, a very solid, Barbados has just been made a republic, and she is our special guest for this occasion.
This will be the third time the celebration of the Independence Day Parade being done outside the nation's capital, Accra, after Tamale and Kumasi. Reporting for Joy News, Richard Kwejunyako, Cape Coast.
Now, advisor on the Sustainable Development Goal at the Office of the President in Ghana, Dr. Eugene Owusu, has warned that the steep rise in population across the African continent, which is the continent has witnessed over the last few decades, poses real threats to the continent. The healthcare systems, as well as the youth employment issues and a myriad of other challenges that have not been fixed by the ruling elites, and that could push the youthful population over the edge to do what will, in the long run, actually derail the process of the continent. Speaking at the launch of the 50th anniversary of the Regional Institute for Population Studies, Dr. Owusu challenged the ruling class on the continent to seize whatever opportunity they could get to prevent whatever danger a frustrated population could have on their own continent.
Population growth and the Sustainable Development Goals are inseparably interconnected. Positive, empowering population solutions are key to meeting the Sustainable Development Goals, whilst the SDGs offer a unique pathway and insight to address many of the challenges associated with population management and the demographic explosion. Africa's population, as I believe many of us do know, in the 1970s was just over 360 million people. Today, our beloved continent's population is estimated at some 1.37 billion people. Despite the upsides of the high population, the rising population that we are witnessing now presents serious threats to the continent's security, to its environment, and indeed to its overall development prospects. In my view, failure to address these threats has the potential to exacerbate existing development challenges, including the relatively poor infrastructure that we do have on this continent, the suboptimal healthcare delivery and delivery systems, and the high unemployment, especially among the youth, all of which risk derailing prospects and progress on the Sustainable Development Goals. The question on the minds of many governments and development partners is how do we leverage the SDGs to address global population issues and vice versa.
Now, some concerned traders of the Abuabu market in Tamale are fighting what they say is an attempt to illegally sell government lands they have occupied for 9 years to private developers. The said land around the Picona Hotel Road close to the West Hospital. According to the traders, they were relocated in 2014 following a planned construction of the Tamale Abuabu Market Lorry Park by the then mayor to the current place, which is currently under litigation. Now, they find it weird that all of a sudden they are being asked to leave the place.
This is not the first time in the city where traders are opposing what they call sale of government land to private developers. Similar protests were seen at the timber market last year, where wood sellers protested over the takeover of lands at the market. At a press conference to register their displeasure, a member of the Picona Traders Association, Abdul Momin, said they would use every legitimate means to stop the Lands Commission from selling these lands.
We have invited you over attempts by Lands Commission of Northern Region to allocate the market space around Picona Road, some private developers. Ladies and gentlemen of the media, we traders currently ply our businesses in the spacious government bungalows directly opposite the Tamale Hospital. They will not sit aloof and see this property or this whole land where they are found to be doing their businesses to be sold without using the proper procedures. They have not been engaged properly, and they think that institutions are here, their houses are here, Ghana Health Service. Our checks have revealed that all of them haven't been engaged properly.
Mr. Mume added that the said land has been authenticated and earmarked for future expansion of the Abuabu market, and questioned why the Lands Commission would want to sack them from the very land meant for future expansion of the market.
So government should take steps to look at ways of resolving this matter so that there will be peace and tranquility in the end. Currently, we all see how they are seated, they are worried over the situation, and they don't have the peacefulness of mind to conduct their day in, day out business. So it is an appeal to government to use his good offices to come to the aid of these traders and that of the institution, and then to also protect the sanctity of the Tamale Abuabu market so that the indiscriminate sale of lands would not jeopardize the future expansion of the market area of Tamale Aboabo.
He expressed worry that the eviction would worsen the unemployment situation already in the country.
Settlement of the media. We all know the negative consequences of unemployment, which has been a growing national security problem in this our beloved country. Therefore, evicting these traders from their place where they have been conducting these businesses as citizens and taxpayers will unnecessarily and unavoidably exacerbate the national security problem of unemployment.
Officials of the East Mamprosing Municipal Greek Directorate have destroyed over 500 birds following the outbreak of the highly pathogenic avian influenza flu at a poultry farm in Nalerigu in the northeast region. The infected farm has since been fumigated while officials have ordered its temporary shutdown. This is the first outbreak ever to have been recorded in the region, with officials suspecting infected egg crates as the possible source of infection.
34-year-old Latif Saka is the owner of the farm, which he established here in Nalerigu 2 years ago with some 1,000 birds. For a first-time poultry farmer, when his flock began to die 2 weeks ago, he thought it was a harmattan and sought the help of a relative who is also into poultry farming. His relative recommended a list of antibiotics and antibacterial for their treatment. Latif said the birds continued to die, however, as he administered the medication. After more than 20 birds died in a single day last week, Latif was helpless and decided to contact local veterinary officials.
There were 1,000 birds I brought here, but along the line I was having some mortalities. But what left that the thing started was 551. That all of them are.
After the officials were contacted, samples were then collected from the farm and a test conducted at Pont Tamale confirmed the outbreak of the highly pathogenic avian influenza.
That was Tuesday. They came. So they asked me questions I answered. So they took some information from me and told me that it was avian influenza. So the remaining birds, they are come to destroy them, burn them and disinfect the whole farm to make it safe for me. So in case I want to maybe restock, I can restock. And that will be 3 months minimum after the spraying. So yesterday, Thursday, Wednesday rather, they came yesterday. So by then, all these ones got finished. And here was occupied by the white base. Then the other side, they were brown base. So this one, they started dying first. So they had finished.
You mean the white base?
Yes. Then it was left with the brown ones. So they said they have to destroy all of them. So we did that yesterday. We dug a pit here, about 6 feet. Came and stamped all the brown base. We buried them and burned them with the feed that was still lying inside my grass and other things. So they advised that we should bury all. We should burn and bury.
For now, the source of this outbreak is yet to be established, and the Agric department in the municipality, which has only supervised the disinfection of the farm, is tight-lipped and yet to make public any details about the outbreak. However, the young farmer who has started counting his losses is pleading for quick government intervention to help him restock his coop.
It's not easy. It's not easy at all. Because to start something of that sort, up to this point, then you look at them dying helplessly, it's not easy. It's a huge loss. And what even happened most is, this is my first time. I'm a first-time poultry farmer. So, and when it happens this way, to get money to start again, it's not going to be easy. The compensation, I wish by even next week I could get it. Because emotionally and psychologically, it's not easy. When you go out and you are coming back, as at now, what was here is no more here. So when you are coming back and you are looking at the pen, there was the structure standing this way. it hurts a lot.
Reporting for Joy News, Ilyasu Tanko, Nalirgu.
Well, let's stay within the Mamprusi area again, because the coordinator of the Gambaga Witches Camp has demanded the arrest of a group of pastors operating prayer camps dedicated to casting out demons and exposing witches in the northeast region. The activities of these pastors, according to the coordinator, have led to a significant rise in cases of witchcraft allegations and persecution in several communities, particularly within the East Mamprusi municipality. The coordinator made the call in the wake of a fresh confusion at Sakogu, where 3 women were accused of being witches by one of the pastors who held a so-called deliverance service days ago in the community. Correspondent Ilyasu Tanko has more.
The prayer camps are found at the eastern outskirts of the capital town, on the right-hand corner in between the village of Zarantenga, along the Nalirgu-Nakpanduri road. To reach there, it is a 20-minute journey from Nalirgu on foot, where one has to climb up a rocky mountain or a plateau. On our way, we found this handwritten inscription on the rocks that appear to read, "God Mercy Year." Atop the rocky mountain, as many as 6 different camps have been found to be in active operations by these pastors, most of whom said to have come from southern towns and cities. According to sources, these camps, known locally as one-man churches, used to operate in abandoned structures and obscure locations in the Nalirgu town until the pastors decided to move them onto the mountains to evade COVID-19 restrictions following the outbreak of the virus. Since then, several individuals parading as men of God have emerged to set up their camps, engaging in the business of persuading people to bring their sickness and other misfortunes for healing and spiritual rescue. One of them is Pastor Nyaba, who claims to have been doing the work of God for 13 years and now operates this camp called the Light of Jesus Prayer Ministry. I asked him about the allegations that their activities are causing chaos and confusion in communities rather than strengthening coexistence and winning souls for God.
Yes, I've heard it. Even getting to the end of last year, as I last told you, I was in the farm harvesting my granules. And I have a lot of calls when people call, mention some places that I've never been to, that I don't even know there. And I said, I'm in the farm, harvesting my granules. So for those things that you are talking about, or to me, I can tell you people to exercise patience and to move forward a little bit for more investigation. Because I'm not the only man of God doing the work of God in Northeast region here. I've never had a revelation that to point, just tell someone that this is a witch, this is that, and this is that. I've never done it before.
The pastor, to further prove his innocence, also condemned the practice by some of his colleagues, who he said are often motivated by the hope of financial gain.
So as a man of God is to win souls to the kingdom of God and not to be pointing people which and this and this and that. Because the work that you are doing is not on your own work, that you can decide to do whatever you want. It is the overall boss, the God that no one sees.
Most of the camps here hold their prayer rituals under trees and in the open, like this one, said to be operated by a native pastor. On the floor, we can see the principal symbol of the Christian religion, the cross of Christ, designed with small rocks. At one camp, it is just several rocks put together to form a shrine-like structure. These young women, all of them uneducated and unemployed, had just finished and were leaving the spot after many hours of prayers. The activities of this crop of pastors, who are said to be working in cooperation with some traditional leaders, are now a source of great worries for many residents. They have been accused of causing the collapse of families and in some cases, tensions and the breach of peace in communities. Only this week in the Sakogu community, a woman who had been pronounced a witch was attacked at a gunpoint by a man, while chaos nearly broke out after 3 more women were accused. One of the places said to be feeling the negative impact from the activities of these pastors is the Gambaga Witches Camp, where authorities have claimed to have received over 50 women banished from their communities upon the orders of the pastors. Samson Larry is the camp's coordinator.
This one-man churches, there is one even now at Nalergu who keeps on accusing women, punishing these women. If you are a man of God, you should rather settle issues. You don't bring this kind of things here. This year alone, those who came from there, from that same problem, there were more than 50. Yes. It took us time. And Gambaran had to settle some of the issues and then dismiss it.
According to the coordinator, several steps for authorities to regulate the activities of these prayer camps, including a complaint made to the regional representatives of the local council of churches, have been fruitless. He now wants the police as well as opinion leaders in Nalerigo to act.
We can get authorities to talk to him, to stop what he is doing. Nobody can prevent you that don't go and pray, fine. But also stop, because it is part of punishment to the women. That's inhuman treatment. How do you know that someone is a witch? And then you begin I'm a Christian, but I'm ashamed of myself. To be honest, it's bad what they are doing there.
Reporting for Joy News, Elias Sotanko, Nalerigo.
Now, a clinical epidemiologist at the University of Health and Allied Sciences, Professor Margaret Kweko, has advised that the only way to fight off cancer is through periodic screening. This, she said, will help in the treatment of the disease, adding that there is a high possibility of survival when the cancer is detected early. She was speaking to Joy News during a cancer screening exercise for police officers stationed at the Volta Regional Police Command.
An estimate of over 3,000 women are diagnosed with cervical cancer, with over 2,000 dying of the disease annually in Ghana. The cause of death, according to experts, is reported for treatment at the last stages of the disease. Due to this, a preventive healthcare approach has been adopted to ensure early detection and treatment to reduce the mortality rate of cancer. Professor Margaret Kweku is an epidemiologist at the University of Health and Allied Sciences and Chief Executive Officer of Kamang Foundation.
We've been talking about breast cancer for ages, but we've been silent about cervical cancer. Now cervical cancer is trying to compete with breast cancer. So the women have double agony. If you don't have breast cancer, then it's cervical cancer. They should screen. And when they screen, when we detect the precancer lesions, that one is treatable. We can treat and cure them. But when they wait and develop the cancer, cervical cancer, we can't cure it. We can manage it. And the management is also very expensive. It's not every woman who can afford. Even if you can afford, the pain involved, you can't pay for it. So I am advocating that women should make use of this opportunity for cervical cancer.
In view of this, the Volta Regional Police Command has partnered with Kamang Foundation to conduct periodic cancer screening for officers stationed at the headquarters. The officers were educated on the cancer disease and offered cancer and hepatitis B screening at a fee.
And we deem it appropriate to actually partner with them, because as law enforcement agencies and the discharge of our duties, we hardly get the opportunity to go through some of these exercises. And so it has come to our doorstep, why not? We embraced it, made sure that we are prepared for it, and it's overwhelming the number of statistics that we have been exposed to. So we are enlightened better.
I've been hearing of cervical cancer, but I couldn't get the opportunity to screen myself. But today, I'm very happy and grateful to the team that come around to screen us. So,
long-lasting infection with certain types of human papilloma virus, a common virus that is passed from one person to another during sex, is the major cause of cervical cancer. However, The use of second-hand underwear has also been identified as a mode of transmitting the virus.
Somebody who has human papilloma virus, infected with human papilloma virus, is using a pant. And if the pant is infected and the person hands over that pant to another person, even if the person is not sexually active, can also get infected. And so it means that it's not only those who are sexually active who can get the infection. So I'm advising that we stop sharing panties.
Fred Kwame Asari, Joy News. Ho.
This is Joy News Prime. When we return, we'll bring you some business news.
Well, it's weekend and I'm sure most of you have shopping lists. To gauge prices of foodstuff, my colleague Emma Davis visited the Adabraka market, of which she has a story in our Made in Joy business shopping list. Take a look.
It's my birthday this weekend and my girls and I are planning a fufu party. So I'm in town to find out the prices for each foodstuff. Come with me as my first stop is the butcher shop. Boss, how much be £1?
£1, but the boneless is 15 cedis. With the bone, 13 cedis. Sometimes, if the price is can, you shred it, 17 cedis. You mix it like mixed meat. You mash it, it will be 20 cedis. But if there is no bone inside, that's 15 cedis with the skin or whether without the skin or whether with the way you want it. But with the bone, as you can see, maybe somebody is going to prepare soup. He prefers the bone in, but someone maybe stew, maybe salt, something like that. Yeah, rice, jollof. Yeah, we want about the other ones. I use a little bit of salt. As you can see the salt here. Yeah, I just put it on salt on it so that it will not spoil. Yeah.
So £3 is how much?
£3 will be that's 39 cedis.
Man, Pacho, where is it? What one is it?
5 cedis.
Okay, 10 cedis, Pacho, no, ma'am.
10 cedis. I mean, we had to swim.
Hey, it's the same toast, no boy, then, pa.
No boy.
Didn't ya?
Mose, I'm at to move village, you know.
I have 5. And I will move 2 cedis.
I don't know.
Pacho 2 cedis. Me and some 5. We have 5 cedis. And I will see 2 cedis. So, and you can't be brown, call you 5 cedis there, but soon. But only 1 cedi.
Cube no so you understand?
Only 1 cedi, need 2 cedi.
I know how many cubes na one.
Onga need 3 for 1 cedi. Maggi 4 for 1 cedi.
Tomato paste in so you saying?
Gin only say ni baku 1 cedi. 5 ni and 5 cedi.
Beef spice I mean dey get on.
Remy roll near 7 cedi. Onga dey roll near 5 cedi. Baku 25.
On Pachoma when you so man person me to 2.
Me the mama 20 last.
Pachoma me 2 right. Pacho body na say.
Body no first na ye. They say ne bo na aba fam kakra.
It
say no. Ya tell me 5 cedis and then 9 5 cedis.
Se me to 10 cedis I bet to me so there.
6. Mama 6.
Oh, want to me so.
Young to so.
So there you have it. 100 cedis was not enough to get all the food stuff I wanted. I had to add extra money because meat and fish alone cost 79 cedis. My name is Emma Davis, reporting for Joy Business.
Well, from the market, let's now talk Valentine, because it's that time of the year when love fills the air and loved ones around the world celebrate Valentine's Day. What are you getting for your loved one this time around, especially when we're just 2 days away from Valentine's Day? In our maiden episode of Joy Business Shopping List, once again, Beverly Brom has been talking to some shop owners in Accra about the cost items involved in Valentine and has come through this report.
If you wanna be my Romeo, see my parent, be my darling, I'll be your Juliet.
So it's a season of love. It's a season where people show affection to people close to their heart. So this Valentine's season, what are you doing for your loved one? What are you getting for them? And do you know how much that gift will cost? Well, today on Shopping List, we are here at the Makolo Market in a very beautiful shop to help you get the perfect gift for your loved one. Let's go shopping. I have a teddy bear on my list. I have a rose flower. I have a mug. I have a rose towel. I have a hamper. I have a lingerie. Which one of these items on my list do you have here in your shop? Just take me through them and how much they cost. Where do we start from? Okay.
Like mug with wristwatch and then wallet. This one costs 50 cedis. We have mug with rose. This rose is soap, liquid soap. It's 35 cedis. And we have double mug, 50 cedis.
This is mug, love watch, and it's just 40 cedis. Affordable. And then we have champion teddy. You know, here we have President Teddy, Minister Teddy, Peace Ambassador Teddy, Judge Teddy. We have a teddy that is a swimmer, a laughing teddy, but the most dangerous teddy is the gossiping one. It gossips. And this one is 1-1. This is the pasta teddy. And then we have the flower soaps. They are all flower soaps, beautifully packaged. Flower soaps with towels. You know, we have towel ice creams and everything. You know, they are 25. This is 10 cedis.
So this is a rose soup. You put them in the jacuzzi and then they lather. So this Valentine's Day, you can get these ones for your loved ones.
And how much is it? How much is it?
This is 45 cedis.
Tell me about the hampers.
This is actually 140 cedis. It comes with a wine, it comes with a rose flower and a hair massager. We've got 650, we've got 570 and then 1,000. And this chocolate I recommend for everybody. Get this for your loved one and it will never end in tears.
So that was Sabina from Janelle's gift shop. She has taken us through all the beautiful gifts that we can get for our loved ones on Valentine's Day. Ladies, we are done with the handkerchiefs and the singlets and the boxer shorts. We are doing some other romantic gift this Valentine's Day. I hope we've been able to help you with the perfect budget when stepping out of your home to shop for that special person. For Joy Business, I am Beverly Broom.
Julia, we'll give you my heart forever. I'll be your Julia. I'll be your Julia.
Well, that was Beverly Broom there with that report there ahead of Valentine's Day. Ending, of course, the business in this segment. But we shall leave you with a summary of international business news. I'm Charles Ayete. The bulletin continues. To stay with us.
Whoever would overthrow the liberty of a nation must begin by subduing the freeness of speech. I didn't say this. This was said by Benjamin Franklin, one of the founding fathers of United States of America. He said this in the 1700s. Let me be clear, I'm not by this saying that freedom of speech should protect you from saying something silly or stupid. Freedom of expression is not absolute. You cannot lie, you cannot malign, and you cannot run down people with your speech. In the name of freedom of expression, you will face the consequences. A journalist with Power FM made some false claims against the president and was arrested for publishing false news with intent to cause fear and alarm. He was subsequently jailed for 14 days for contempt of court. Head of pressure group ASEPA, Mensa Thompson, was also arrested for publishing false news with intent to cause fear and alarm. And only yesterday, an Accra FM presenter was also arrested for publishing false news with intent to cause fear and alarm. The police said he had made false statements against some individuals. It has now emerged that it was against the First Lady. Now, the offense of publication of false news with intent to cause fear and alarm to the public is provided for under Section 208 of Act 29. And it appears the police has been busy in recent times enforcing this particular law, which makes nonsense of the repeal of the criminal libel law. Why do I say this? Well, the African Court in 2014 ruled on a very important case, Konate versus Burkina Faso. The court stated that apart from serious and very exceptional circumstances, for example, incitement to international crimes or public incitement to hatred, violence, discrimination, the violation of laws on freedom of speech and press cannot be sanctioned by custodial sentences. This decision sets the standard that governments should not criminalize defamation. It is the first case in Africa to set such a high standard for freedom of expression, and it creates a strong precedent for the region. So why is the state pursuing criminal cases for defamation when the issues are not grave? The individuals who have been wronged by false publications can go to the National Media Commission for a rejoinder or even pursue a civil case against the state. Why is the state falling back on archaic laws? Because the perception that it is creating is that it is trying to stifle freedom of expression. To think that this is happening under the presidency of Nana Akufo-Addo, a respected former Attorney General who repealed the criminal libel law, is most unfortunate. What is the difference between the repealed law and Section 208 of Act 29? We repeat, we are not saying that the state should not punish persons for publishing false news. What we are saying is that the state should not impose custodial sanctions for freedom of expression violations that are not grave. If someone says you've stolen and you have not, pursue a civil case. After the election of Speaker Alban Bagbin, Asawase MP Muntaka Mohammed alleged that a top Supreme Court judge tried influencing an NDC member of parliament. He later apologized and retracted. Why is the police not chasing after him for the publication of false news with intent to cause fear and alarm? Were we not alarmed by this news? This is not to target him, but why is he off the hook? Here at Joy News, we have fact-checked many ridiculous claims that could amount to the publication of false news to cause fear and alarm. So why is the police being selective? Journalists are not perfect. They are fallible. Let's punish them, but not in a way that would erode freedom of expression. Once a government is committed to the principle of silencing the voice of opposition, it has only one way to go, and that is down the path of increasingly repressive measures until it becomes a source of terror to all its citizens and creates a country where everyone lives in fear. These are the words of US President Harry Truman, and there is everything true about this quote.
And that's all we have for you in this package of Joy News Prime. My name is Blessed Sugan. Don't forget that we have updates on all of our running stories on myjoyonline.com. That's your hub for the most credible and authentic news. And we'll see you same time next week.